But the beauty about this project is it could be a catalyst for development in Highland Park.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the amount of support that you potentially can gain with the right narrative is something to be said.
Okay.
And even if this looks the way it looks now, trust me, if you put together the right play, you can go in for that touchdown.
Okay.
What's up, boss? So the water is on? I got you. Okay. Yeah.
So what I don't know for sure is when this facade, these pillars went up on the building. It doesn't look like that's the original, but more than likely that was some sort of modification regarding the So my name is Jamal Thomas. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Liberty Plaza. We are a Highland Park-based Afro-Latino woman-led development company. My wife is the Chief Executive Officer for our organization, and I'm the Chief Operations Officer. I am in Capital Impact, Momentous Capital. It's the Equitable Design Initiative program, cohort number 6, and I'm here with my architects and some of my other supporters. We are in the process of embarking on what could be a catalytic project for the Hamilton Park area. That is Hamilton at 6 Mile. We are on Jocelyn Street between Geneva and Florence in the city of Highland Park, and our goal here is to transform the once vacant Liberty School into an adaptive reuse, redevelopment for housing and other things. We're hoping that this could be an anchor for the neighborhood to inspire development in the eastern part of Martin Park. It borders right on Rosa Parks, the city of Detroit, and the city of Highland Park is on the eastern side of that border at Rosa Parks, and we're hoping to restart development in this area. What you'll notice from the panning view is that the area is completely barren. Talk about a need for adaptive reuse. Most of the houses in the area are dilapidated. You got a lot of burnouts, caved-in construction, caved-in structures. So most of this neighborhood has been destroyed due to years of the drug war or the arson that happened in Highland Park year after year. So what we're hoping to do is to be that project that starts the process of transforming this neighborhood back into something that's beneficial for the community.
So talk to me about Highland Park. A lot of people don't understand the history of Highland Park and what it technically means to the Motor City.
Yeah, so there's a running joke that Highland Park is the capital of the city of Detroit. It was a small community that was adjacent to a growing Detroit, and Detroit eventually grew around it. There were some, large property owners and wealthy individuals, Henry Ford among them, that carved this city out. They did not want to be a part of the city of Detroit, so they went to great lengths to charter a city that did not make them a part of the city of Detroit. And Henry Ford is largely responsible for the industrial boom of the city of Highland Park. Most of the schools that were built here, that was a Henry Ford initiated project. The highest quality education for students in the United States of America at one time was in the city of Highland Park schools. So there was a mass migration to Highland Park from all over the world, people from the Middle East, people from Europe, people People from the Appalachians, people from the Deep South, people from out west came to the city of Highland Park for that famous $5 a day wage that Henry Ford broadcast in the early 20th century, early 1900s. He invited those people here, and the community that grew was like no other in the United States of America. Top quality services. The streets were swept. The alleys were plowed. They had everything that you wanted to have in the community. So on Woodward Avenue and on Hamilton, all the features that you would see in a Grosse Pointe Park or Grosse Pointe Shores, Grosse Pointe Farms, that was actually a model that they copied in this geography. During the late 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s, the community transitioned from a largely a European population along with a lot of Mediterraneans to where you had black people moving into this area. In this particular area, there were only certain sections that black people could live in, on the far west side and on the other side of Oakland near the railroad tracks. And if I'm getting this wrong, it's okay. I needed Jamal Jordan to help get me completely squared away on that, the historian. But the community transitioned in the late 70s to majority black, and this was the place to be for the black bourgeoisie, along with Boston Edison and Palmer Woods. Unfortunately, this area succumbed heavily to the drug war. A lot of negative outcomes of the drug war helped to foster the exodus of people out of this area, and also degradation of the quality of life, and houses being foreclosed on, left vacant, falling victim to scrappers and arsonists and drug activity. It drove the city over the last 50 years. Last 50 years has pretty much driven the value of the city down significantly. So it's a shell of what it once was. At one point, the population was 50,000 people. The city was built for like 80,000. We got 8,900.
8,900 people. Wow.
So only 10% of the projected desired population for the area.
So the architect of this school,
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about that, because this school is probably one of the most unique with regard to the selection of the color of the brick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at that amazing clock.
Yeah.
You got the Puabic tiles. I think I might have pronounced that
Yeah.
incorrectly.
Puabic, something like that. We both get it wrong. It has a woman's touch, right?
Absolutely.
It has that finesse to it. So this building was built by Butterfield and Butterfield, architectural firm from Michigan. Mr. Butterfield happened to have a young daughter, Emily, who graduated from architecture school. She was the first female architect in the state of Michigan, and she graduated from architecture school in 1915. And the stone on this building, you have to find it, says 1917. So this is at a time when women could not be architects in many cases. They certainly couldn't be a lead on a project. And you had a seasoned architect and her father, who I suspect allowed his daughter to work heavily on this project. And she could have been the major designer, she could have done the finishes, but I have a really, really strong belief that this whole project was done by Emily Butterfield, and that this might have been one of the first buildings designed in the state of Michigan by a woman. And so she is, her legacy is very interesting. And I want to say that her father ended up being the mayor of Berkeley.
Okay.
Years later. So there's some history there. My wife had called to see about, getting some questions answered. We haven't reached out to the Butterfield family yet, but at some point we would like to find out if they could share with us some information about the structure, about the history of it, and maybe confirm if this was one of the first buildings built in the state of Michigan by a woman. It would be amazing. Well, my youngest daughter wants to be an engineer, so the fact that that could be a reality is something that was really inspiring me. Okay, down the road. Now, I carry this thing for cobwebs and, the occasional girl raccoon or whatever, but mostly cobwebs.
I also got a flashlight too. Okay, gotcha. Miles, you got a flashlight?
So you want a headlight?
Here, I give him this one. He can hold on to this one. There you go.
Thanks. All right. So you guys can take a look one room at a time. What I typically like to do is come into this way, go that way, and come back to gym and the cafeteria is down there.
Where did we just walk in?
Oh, right here. Right
Okay.
here. Yep. Now most of the water that you see coming from the roof, that's infiltration from 2 floors up. And the smell, I'm sure you've been familiar with this lovely smell before.
Asbestos, huh?
Possibly. Well, it was a functioning school in 2007. Riley, you're smart, you got your mask on. So,
It sounds recent, but that's actually 17 years ago, right?
yeah, exactly. So this is the typical size of one of the classrooms. There's some much larger classrooms, but this is the typical size of the classroom.
All right, I'm assuming that above us is concrete
Yes, sir.
ceilings
Yep.
or slabs.
So they put layers. I would say the school was layered. They had drop ceilings. I guess the predecessor for drywall. As well?
Yeah.
It's just faster.
Oh, no, this is the predecessor to the lay-in ceiling,
Okay.
because it's insulated, so it's got some acoustic
Okay.
qualities. Concrete or masonry or plaster.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the gym. You can go there. Second. Storage. That connects to the other side of the building.
Yeah, this is the one.
This comes to a dead end where a bathroom is. Leads to an exterior door. Totally destroyed bathroom.
Oh, that's the boiler room.
Yep, there are two of them, there are two fan rooms of that size. For example, some of the drop ceilings. Now this fan room is a door that leads to the exterior. It's been a while since I walked it, but I walked it a bunch.
So yeah, it looks like it is plaster over masonry,
Oh, okay.
but this is really thick. That's almost like concrete over masonry.
Yeah, it sure
You
is.
see a brick there. Yeah.
Yep. Where we headed to now, boss?
This is the gym,
Okay.
and it has a mirror cousin on the other side of the building is the cafeteria. So what I found when I first came in here is that the scrappers did as much as they could to destroy the filtration system or anything that would keep the water out. And as a result, those are wide open. I've been on the roof and saw that wide open.
What a,
That's a roof drain?
Yeah.
There's a low roof on.
what a really tall, nice opening. room.
Nice sized gym. Okay, so architects. This is how do you make this space?
This is my black box theater.
How do you make this space make money?
This is my black box theater.
Make money?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't ask the architects about making money.
This is my black
You're
box
gonna have to
theater.
about designing
Yeah.
the spaces, but.
I mean, it depends what you want it to be, theater, gym.
So I was just in a space the other day,
No
just at the Detroit People's School Co-op, and I saw that they had meeting room space. Where you at, John? Right here. Okay. No, we went on the side.
That might be a little harder.
Yeah, that, we went on the side. That was a little monkey. Come down out of the hallway to the door that's open.
Detroit People's School Co-op had what?
They had a conference room on the second floor.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful space.
Yeah.
But the people, our members, they could rent the space for anything, for weddings, for any type of activity. You could put a nice jazz concert on the space of that size. But to have a space that could be used and rented by the tenants who lived here or.
Yeah, I think that like a community room. for the-
Absolutely. I mean,
And a gym. Like
And a gym.
Gym on normal spaces, and they could
Yeah, and that
rent
was
it out as a
awesome.
community space, yeah, if they want to have a party or.
and so when we get a chance to see the cafeteria on the other side of the building, it's larger than this space, actually. I wanna say it goes back further because it butts up against the old, locker room for the swimming pool. Yeah, there's a pool.
There's a pool. You probably want to delete it.
Huh?
It's already been filled with concrete.
No,
Okay.
no, but everybody that sees it like filled with concrete, it's a liability.
Yeah.
And like all of the mechanics of the pool, or is that all in the boiler room as well?
Yep, it is.
Still
That's
down
the
there?
recruitment room.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all ice melt that's coming up. Now, where do you get the cool gases from? That's like. So the center corridor, this is the main hallway. And so what you see is all the stripping activity that took place over here. You see the result of the water coming through the top of the building on the front, where there's infiltration in the roof. The floor is indicative of the fact that it's been collecting water for a while. The main office here,
This is all ice, huh?
yeah,
Yep.
all ice.
Be careful. It's all ice over here.
So this goes to the first floor, doors that take you outside,
Okay.
connects to those. The swimming pool. through this door.
Okay. Oh wow. Let's hit a flashlight in on here.
I'm gonna let you guys get in and take a look, take a peek.
Condition in here.
This is a weird pool.
It's not that big actually.
No, it's tiny.
This is for little kids.
Yeah, yeah.
No, this was actually, well, this was elementary school, what am I saying?
Oh.
This wasn't
K through
elementary
8,
school?
K
Okay.
through 8, so everybody learned to
Interesting
swim
that there
here.
was a pool in elementary school.
That is.
There were,
That is a
every
little
school in
exception.
Highland Park has a pool. 2 or 3 of them had Olympic size pools.
Well, remember what Highland Park was in
What was Highland Park in the beginning? Talk to us.
Mega Mansions.
Huh?
The first Mega Mansions were in Highland Park. Yep.
Before it was like, I think I'm gonna make it beautiful.
Yep. Because back then it was all of Detroit was the city of trees. Everything had to be green, everything had to be beautiful, it had to look like a very much lived space.
Yeah, and lush as possible. I'm gonna get in and take a look at my luxury.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for all of the trees.
Yeah, me too.
It's very nice.
Yeah, like they did everything
Still
back
living in the city, but still having trees is
Okay.
something good.
Boiler room, you guys can tackle this now?
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure I'm not walking into a wall of,
Spider webs.
spider web.
Pretty low ceiling here.
Yeah.
Going real slow here.
So this wouldn't pass as occupiable, right? It's not 6/8. That corner.
Yikes! Look at that monster.
Yeah. All this gotta be cut out.
It wouldn't be.
Be careful on these. Look on the ground, guys, when you walk through here.
For public space now, yeah.
And so this goes up to this goes out to the back of the building.
So this does here, this door. Okay, gotcha.
Around the underground tunnel that goes out, I know they probably store coal in that.
Okay.
You wanna get down there and see if you can?
Brownfield here.
Yeah. So I would love you to help me articulate that.
I mean, the cost to get rid of all this,
Astronomical.
high, but you can get something called a brownfield tax increment finance, where it's an eligible expense, so you have to front the money, but you get a reimbursement every year. The problem is you don't have, the tax base isn't increasing
Nope.
around your area, so you don't get the benefit of the increment.
We just solidified our brownfield authority too. That happened in the last 24 months.
Yeah.
So what does that mean if the increment's not necessarily due to the tax base not increasing?
Your payout, you don't get as much money.
But it's still
as fast.
it's still money there to be had.
Yeah.
Even
so
with the-
it works like a, it's like, let's say it costs $3 million to get rid of all this. They basically, it would be an eligible expense.
Yeah.
Mind your P's and Q's back there.
Be careful of that manhole behind you.
I see it.
Okay.
And
I
then-
run into a lot of manholes, open gaps, just.
What were you saying, Miles?
And then if that, all that 3 million of eligible expenses gets approved, then you get a check kind of over, but you gotta look and see, you can kind of estimate, like, you'll get maybe a good figure that we've used is 75% of what your tax bill is, you get back. But it gets spread out over the number of years, and I don't know exactly how it works, but the higher the taxes around your building end up, then the more your taxes go up, which means you're getting more back.
I got you.
Mm-hmm. It's the that's
Oh.
the bottom of the smokestack.
Wow. Yeah. Got you. You want to probably delete that, honestly.
You right.
Yeah.
It's a little.
It looks
nostalgic.
nice, but
yeah, exactly.
yeah, it probably would be safer to get rid of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at that monstrosity.
Yeah.
What is that?
Boiler.
Yeah.
There's this where they shoveled the coal in is down there, it was fired and heated up water, then heated up the building.
And that's asbestos wrapped around all of those
Yep.
pipes up
Yep.
there.
It's cool as long as you don't disturb it.
Yep.
But it's, sure we're walking out a bunch of it. well as lead paint chips.
Yep.
These tiles, 9x9 are
Oh,
all.
yeah, all asbestos tiles.
Asbestos tiles.
Absolutely.
So this is my fake news mural. Some vigilante artist came and did this beautiful rendition of our. That's maybe 2017.
Wow. Nice.
And the writing on it, that happened in 2020. Somebody did that in 2020. Excuse my language. I wanted to preserve it like that because this was a political statement that somebody made, and they just came and like messed it up. I thought, again, there's a lot of art in here, but I thought this is actually pretty interesting that somebody broke it here in 2017. Put this up here.
Yep.
And it's not
This is what I
bad.
was talking
No,
about.
it's not.
I mean, if Banksy would come in here, we'd be cutting this wall out together, okay? We'd all be up in here with a wall saw.
Worse than I thought.
All right, this part is. Go to hold down.
What is this?
Okay, cool.
More classrooms. This goes towards the new part of the building. So just be mindful of the stuff overhead. Same.
Okay.
It's because there's no water filtration. I mean, not filtration, but a way to move the water to the drainage pipe. But there are no more drainage pipes. This connects to the locker room that goes back to the pool. So boys' locker room, girls' locker room is over here. This space up there that you looked into earlier, Ben, and cafeteria. I don't know what kind of ceiling that is. What kind of ceiling?
What's above us?
That's what I'm looking at.
Nothing.
Okay.
Just a roof.
I see.
Just a roof.
Is there a door outside?
So that's a ramp. That's actually a ramp that goes up and goes outside.
Got it.
The double door.
We're not the newer side of the building yet, are we?
Nope, we about to go there now, but I can't wait to get over there.
Right.
There's less,
Less of this.
yeah.
Yeah, this could be a really cool community space.
I mean, it's got a kitchen,
We're a little bit underground, right?
ground level.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because we gotta go up that
We
ramp.
gotta go up to get out.
Yeah, the little ramp that's over there. Little wheelchair ramp. Okay, yep, you ready to get out? All right, let's keep moving to the dry part. Ugh, I should've worn my mask.
Yeah, understandable.
This is where the building switch.
Especially in houses, my concern is more so
The
the
good part of the building here.
floor.
We
Yeah.
walk through this little archway, cinder block, existing elevator shaft.
And this is the only elevator for the building?
Yep. This is the newer portion of the building, what these classrooms look like. There is no water infiltration through the ceiling, and it's basically still full of desks for the school.
You said this is the newer part.
Yep. So new portion of the
It's
building.
about right here.
That's the lunchroom in there, so now we are right here,
Okay.
where we moved into this new
This is the
portion of it.
elevator.
Yep. Elevator. All right, so the rooms look slightly different. Obviously, there's no, you hear no water, there's no cap above it. Like I said, the two buildings, I mean, you see the concrete floor.
Structural decking's all rusted, I don't know.
Might just be surface.
Yeah. I don't know how much the concrete on top of it is depending on the decking for strength or not.
We'll see when we get upstairs, this is the floor we're working on. Okay, two classrooms here. And then we go up the stairs on the dry side, another classroom here.
You said this is the dry side, huh?
Yeah. I got the wet side and the dry
Something
side.
cool?
Gateway, Microsoft Windows 98.
Computers, oh yeah, look at that. I know, it's like, part of me's like, I could spend so much time in here. The other part of me's like, you can't spend
No,
no
you
time in
can't.
here.
But walls look solid.
Deck is-
I just like to get it cleaned out. I just like to get the dry part with all of this stuff in it out of the way so that you can look at it more objectively. Because with all of this shit in the way, it's hard to really see it for what it could potentially be.
You don't want to touch it yet. I mean, with the Oprah potential tax abatement you can get for it, you don't want to come in and do too much
Okay.
until you actually understand what the capital stack may be. Because, and I'm not sure how Highland Park may approach certain tax abatements.
We have absolutely no experience.
Yeah, so that's where it gets a bit challenging, but you know, you get a 12-year tax abatement on this thing. And that could, but it also requires you to not do any work until the start of construction, right? So, I mean, outside of like keeping it secure and, you know, certain minor aspects of you know, keeping your building safe, you don't want to come in and
Trying
do
to
too
keep
much.
the water out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the biggest
That's
problem, is the
something,
roof.
yeah, that's something I would, if you're gonna try to keep this, trying to find a way to keep more, any additional water out.
Yep.
I could probably spend $100,000 just trying to keep the water out.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Easy.
Is that a light or is that sunlight? I'm like, wait, you got power in this thing?
That's a lot of something.
This is one of the science labs.
Over here, the newer side probably isn't.
I think 9 by 9 is usually, this best, this looks like it's about 12 by 12.
Does that look like a 12?
My foot's about,
My foot's
normally 12 inches, in these boots is probably 13 inches.
this is a 10. So yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you're right.
I would, you know what I would do is find a contract, I think a big line item that you gotta put in your budget is, see if you can get someone to give you some comps on what they've done cleaning out, doing like a environmental remediation of an industrial building. They may have some price per square foot numbers
Okay, and then
that you could get.
I would love to do that. And before we walk away from this section, so when I came through here with Timothy Miles from Manning Smith, he had his engineer friend with him, some guy from South Africa, his name escapes me right now.
Mark Stantonopoulos?
Might have been. He came to this part and said, this is where, we were on the second floor. He said, this is where they punched through
Yep.
when they built the building. And I'm like, what do you mean, where did they punch through? He said, yeah, they built this building, it's new construction, they poured the floors, did this, and then when they finished, they punched through the wall. And he said, if you want, you could just put the wall back. And I'm like, I could? Yeah, you could. If you, essentially separating the two buildings, the 1969 portion from the 1917 portion. Because the environmental concerns are gonna be dramatically different for this side of the building.
Absolutely.
If you can get it separated, partitioned, dry. I mean, how many buildings are downtown throughout Midtown that are right next door to something that smells like this, but you got
Oh, yeah.
a building right next door? So that was one of my big pipe dreams initially was, is it possible for me to separate this into two buildings and get part of it moving as motivation to get the other side going? Because it'd be dramatically cheaper. If we're talking about 30,000 square feet, I'm assuming each one of these floors is about 10,000 square feet. So when the building, they say 90,000 square feet, the original building was built at 60,000 square feet. And this addition, these three floors were supposed to be 10,000 square feet each or more, and change.
Seems about right.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that I wanted to ponder is that, and it already has an elevator, and it has an entrance in the back. That this is essentially two buildings, so if that's something that we can incorporate into our phases, you know, phase one will be to do this part of the building, and then work on the other part that requires more extensive remediation, is a different face of the building, so they can access from the back. And all the toxic stuff could go out the front, potentially. That's where the little farm feature is in the back, you know, so that's a possibility. It's just an idea that I've been harboring for a while as a way to approach the project, because this, I'm looking at your faces and everybody gives me the same face. Since you're my team now, it's like, ugh.
I could see mobilization wise, you know, if you could do remediation across both buildings, it'd probably be cheaper, but it would be also harder to convince a funding partner to just do remediation on this side and finish up the newer building. You'd have to pretty much, that'd be tough.
You
But-
took the words out of my mouth. I don't
Thank
know
you.
how,
I
I don't
need
know
that.
how you get money to do one side but not the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need that, guys. I need to be,
I think Although, like, the idea of phasing it is, like, I think phasing would be a really good strategy, but I don't know how you get money for one side without the other.
All right, guys. Let's see. So this is the library.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because of the winter that we had, it's very. When I first came in here, it was dry because it was a dry season. It hadn't rained in a while.
Right.
2019, that time. Well, 2020 when we first came in, it was interesting. It was dry, but it's been extra juicy, and we collect a lot of water on the roof. 20 steps. There's some walls right here that the wall is compromised because of the water infiltration. This is probably the worst of it. It's on the second floor. And you'll see large portions of the wall that are falling out.
This is the top floor, right?
No, there's one
Second.
more above.
Oh, there's that one, okay.
Yep. There's one more above. And so the source material for all the water is up there.
Yes.
But this is probably the
Okay.
worst where you see, you've had basically the masonry is just disintegrated. It's just
Mhm.
poof. Basically, it's just poof. And when you get here, when you get to the other side, it's dry because all of the water is coming in along the front
Mm-hmm.
of the structure. So it's extra spicy. Extra spicy.
Yeah. But the beauty about this project is it could be a catalyst for development in Highland Park.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the amount of support that you potentially can gain with the right narrative is something to be said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And even if this looks the way it looks now, trust me, if you put together the right play, you can go in for that touchdown.
Okay.
And so yeah.
That's what I need.
I'd say go for the whole shebang. Don't just consider the newer portion. Put together a play for the whole shebang. But I think Miles's recommendation about finding somebody to give you a price on the remediation of a building such as this one. Wow, look at that thing.
Yeah, that's part of the Puabic tile. It's another one downstairs too.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah. So the Puabic Society reached out to us maybe 2 years ago about coming in to look after the Puabic work that's here. I didn't respond to their call at the time because, again, I needed to make sure that I started this part of it, understanding the building itself, as opposed to bringing somebody in. They would have probably liked to take it out of the wall.
Which would have been nice, but as long as you kept control of it, yeah. But if they were able to restore it, that's actually a good thing to consider. Zapping an email to them to see if there's an opportunity for them to still do that, because imagine adaptive reuse. You bring this thing to new, and then you find a place to put this back at. Maybe not here.
This is a rare piece.
Yeah.
This is a very rare piece
Absolutely.
because they found out they reached out to somebody else in the community to find out who the owner was because they were trying to track down some of their pieces over the last few years. I think the 100-year anniversary came up.
Okay.
So they were looking for that particular item. They knew where it was. They had some sort of archive that showed where it was.
But yeah, I would imagine they would restore it and return it to you.
I'll have to get it in writing. I got a pretty good attorney.
I hear that.
Because things that, I don't know, the idea of looting treasures, a lot of that has happened in the city of Detroit in construction. I remember those lion faces over on West Grand Boulevard when they were actually on the building. And I don't know where they are now. Third floor is the same, so we don't have to do this.
You can tell how bad the roof is by what's going on underneath it.
Yeah, the third floor is the epicenter.
So
I meant by
I feel
saying,
confident I don't want to be anywhere near the.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to stand on it, but I guess my concern is like how bad is it damaging the walls on the third level?
So, I would say significant because that's where the water is coming in.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
traveling through.
it's just a worse version of this probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's an accurate assessment.
Yeah.
But so we have a concrete roof up there with a plenum that's like 11 or 12 feet. I don't even know what the hell a plenum was until somebody told me.
That sounds expensive to
Anyway,
remove.
it's like it's a space like this, but then they have a roof on top of it that's
Yeah.
made out of wood where they used to put the shingles and the tarp. So it's a space this big in the crawl space, the little
Oh wow.
pirate space up there.
Yeah.
I'll show it to you.
What video game is that? Silent Hill?
Oh yeah, thank you. So here's an example of how bad. One good example. All of the drainage infrastructure was damaged by them stripping out the pipes.
Oh, okay. Let me see this flashlight really quickly. Let me check this wall out. Huh?
This is where you're saying the line.
Is that a low bearing? I think that is low bearing.
This one here?
Architect, is that low bearing?
Newport's not that big. I don't think so.
Right there.
See, so the wall?
Yeah.
Or, I don't think that part back there might be. All these small pieces in front of it, I think that was the way they used to fireproof things way back then.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I think, so this is a column and then there's a beam here. And so I think there's a beam.
Yeah, I'll come over to the right. I put a little these things down. This is the worst of it. Here.
Be careful, it's still a little icy.
Yeah. So this is probably the worst, and you can actually see through this wall. You go in there, you'll be able to see through into the next room because of the infiltration. This is the source of what most of the water comes in. I've been on the roof, and
Let me see that flashlight.
it's interesting up there. Yeah, from in there where Eddie is at, you can actually look into the room like into the wall.
I'm still not seeing any gaping holes, honestly.
In the ceiling?
Yeah, I don't see I don't see where the sunlight's coming in at. I'm just, of course you need a new roof. That's gonna be costly, but I just don't see it causing.
There's horizontal, 4 feet beams go across and then the inlaid. That blocks
Tell her where you went. She's gonna be like, you were where? Some vacant building in Highland Park?
Yeah.
And now what is this?
So, access to the roof.
Oh, okay, good. Now is it steps or?
Relax. Oh, why is it open?
Oh.
It's closed.
You said it's closed?
No, it's open. I had closed it, but it's open.
Is that the roof access?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How bad is it looking up there, boss?
It'll be interesting for you to come and see. This is the plenum I was telling you about. I just want to make sure it did not take my head off when I got up there. That's the most important thing. It's an interesting sight to see.
Let me borrow this flashlight here.
It's a gigantic place. Because it goes the full length of the building.
It's like an attic.
This looks like that doesn't look like it's for the whole roof though.
It is, Eddie.
Is it?
You can walk the whole building. You can walk the whole circumference of the building.
Huh.
Could you walk? That was the question I wanted to.
Like how many units could we squeeze in there?
And then now the question is how many?
And then how much?
Yeah, and does that make the overall cost?
Would it be to retrofitting a room like this, turn it into an apartment? Would it be relatively easy?
Well,
Don't think of it that way.
apartments, Yeah,
It's the infrastructure,
yes,
it's all the
yeah.
MEP.
Kitchen and bathrooms in every single unit, that's what makes,
Okay.
that's what makes residential.
Once they kind of sit down and figure out where things
So,
in the services and such go.
Schools, a lot of these divider walls are structural walls, so they're good
That
to
is a good
convert because then you don't have to demo
That's a good point,
structural
too.
walls. That's
I
just a
think a
common
lot of
thing.
these walls
Okay.
I don't think they're low band, but
Building. But that's a common reason why they like to use the bricks.
Yeah, especially like when they're built in this format.
there is some of the tax increments or the historical tax credits, sometimes they might, you know, the mayor, they've turned a school back into a school, So one of the things that they might have wanted them to preserve was the hallways.
Right.
Okay.
That's true, yeah. We did historic tax credits on that.
Yeah, this comes to a dead end with bathroom.
Where's the, is this the stairs?
Exit stairs right here, at the dry spot that we can go out right this way. We go straight down.
So with historic tax credits, what is he limited to? Like other than the hallways, what else does he have to? I guess.
Then
Exterior is
Yeah.
the big one.
Okay.
the exterior's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Usually interiors are pretty lenient on, but they want you to like maintain like defining characteristics of.
Got it.
Windows, roof lines.
All right, be careful down here. It's a little bit of
Yeah,
ice.
a little bit of ice.
Yep. There's some ice built up on these steps.
Yep. Be careful.
Hello?
Fresh air.
No, it's
I got a real stinker.
nice.
Listen, man, go for the gusto.
I'm going for the gusto. I have no reason not to.
Go for the
It's
gusto.
too insane not to.
Great piece of architecture.
It is too insane not to.